everyone, I'm Liz with Springfield Leather, and I'm here today to show you how to make a couple of fun bracelets. We're going to be learning how to do a baseball and a football style bracelet cuff. Great activities for kids or the sports enthusiast in your life. Perfect presents for them. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to be starting off with the football style bracelet. So what I have here is a pre-cut cuff. It is 1.5 inches wide. And I cut it out of a football looking material. It's a brown pebble grain leather. It's got a nice weight to it. It's gonna be good. You will need 1/4 inch wide buck stitching lace. I happen to use our white 1/4 inch wide kangaroo lace. Works really well. And then you will also need some 1/8 inch wide kangaroo or buck stitch lace. You want to use the buck stitching lace because it's flat and it's going to lay nicely for you, as opposed to like a suede lace that'll be a little bit thicker. It adds a little bit too much thickness to it. So first of all, what we want to do is we're going to start off by marking our center line. So you need a pair of wing dividers or a compass. What you want to do, since my bracelet is 1.5 inches, I will be marking my center line at 3/4 of an inch. And these lines, since this is an oil tan leather that I'm using, these lines will rub out in the end, but this one will also be covered. And then I want to mark my 2 side lines. And so those I'm going to do at 1 inch apart. And so these are going to be 3/8 inch from the edge. So now what we want to do is we're going to take a chisel and we will cut our slots in at the end. Our lace, we're going to put in the wide lace first, the 1/4 inch lace. So we're going to cut slots. I'm just using my 1/8 inch punch and I'm punching 2 slots next to each other. So we'll just get those in, and I just kind of wing it here a little bit at the end. I've got my line, so I put a little chisel mark on either side of my line. And it'll be correct. It'll be the correct width. On this side. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we want to mark our 1/8 inch chisel slots down the lines that we have marked on either side of our center line. So I start about, if I line my ruler here up with my first chisel mark, I'm going to start about 1/4 inch in on my line. And then I'm going to move it at 1/2 inch increments on center. Okay, now we have all of our chisel slots in, so we will start with our lace. I cut about 1 foot of your wider lace here. It takes a little bit less, but it's always good to have extra. So put it in our handy dandy lacing needle. I like to use the 2-prong. Set that in there. So you will start. You will come up from the back on one side. And wiggle it through the hole. There you go. Pull it through. And you're going to want to leave a tail at the end. And you'll secure that as you lace. And then we'll come in from this side. And back down. And just kind of pull it taut. Okay, simple enough. There we go. Okay, so now I will thread up my 1/8 inch lace. here we go. So I've got about 4 feet of lace here, and I'm going approximately 6 inches. So if you have a longer bracelet and you're going longer, or if you're going shorter, I'd say you need about 3 to 4 feet of your 1/8 inch lace to complete. So here, and we can trim these guys off when we're done. They might be a little bit long, but we'll trim them later. So we're going to start here, and let's see. We'll just start. We'll come up from the back. So just pick a side to start from. Make sure your lace is laying on the right side as you come up. You want it on the top side of the bracelet. So, and then you just pull it through that first hole. I'm gonna pull it all the way through. It's very important while you're lacing to make sure, because we are just using flat lace, that you either don't let go of the needle, or make sure that before you put it back through the next hole, that your lace is straight, because otherwise it'll end up twisted. So coming out, we're gonna go under, once again with our lace laying correctly, and then through the slot opposite. Just place here. Nice and straight. There we go. So we've got a little bit of a tail that we've left. We've gone under the first one. And so then, I'm not sure if my lace is still straight, so I'm going to make sure it is. Got my lace. And then we're going to go back through the same first hole that we went through. So you're going to layer it up on top, wiggle it in there, and then pull it through. And then make sure that you secure that 1/4 inch lace on the bottom as well. So you want to go over that as well. And every time you do this, let's pull it tight. So make sure our lace is straight. And then we're going to go back down through the hole, but this time we're going to go over the 1/4 inch lace before we went under. Oh, and it looks like I'm backwards. Okay. Put it in there. Pull it through. And you secure it down on top. You've got your first one. So now we're going to turn it over. And you're going to come out from the bottom, and you're going to go up through the next hole, or the next slot. Find it there on the back side. Secure those laces on the back, pull it tight, under and through. And then you just repeat this until you've gone all the way down your bracelet. Okay, so once you have finished your lacing, because for what I'm doing, I'm going to be lining the bracelets. I'm not super concerned about the little tails, but what I'll just do is I'll take my guy, I've got my 1/4 inch tucked in here and kind of trimmed up a little bit, and then I'm just gonna weave my tail back underneath the laces, just to secure them. So pretty simple. I'm gonna be lining it with a Veg Tan backer, so I'll be gluing that down and it'll secure everything in place. We get our contact cement here. Make sure it's nice and messy. And we're gonna just apply some to the back of our cuff. Make sure you get the edges really good. Since I am not sewing mine, which you could sew yours around the edge if you wanted to, since I'm not sewing mine, I want to make sure that the glue holds really well around the edges. especially because we're going to have this center section that's going to be pulling it up a little bit. Okay, so now our glue has gotten tacky on both sides, and we are going to stick these together. So, line up your holes, make sure everything comes out okay. I usually start at one end and work my way towards the other, lining up the edges. Perfect. Now we'll set our stamps. So, got our cap section here. Cap through the top. Socket on this side. Make sure everything's pressed down really well. And we're back with our second bracelet of the day. It is going to be the baseball stitch bracelet. So I've got for this one, you need white leather, obviously, unless you have a fun colored baseball, which would be fine. We're doing another 1.5 inch cuff. For my bracelet, I am using some red sinew. It's the artificial kind, a couple bucks for a spool. You need about 4 feet or so. We'll leave you some extra. Or you could use a red thread if you wanted to, and that's what you had on hand. So first, what we need to do, draw an arc. I use one of our fancy little silver marking guys because it'll rub off, and if you mess up your arc, you can draw it again a couple times. The important thing about the arc is to not get it too close to the top edge or the bottom edge of your bracelet, because you'll be punching holes on either side, and you need about 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom to punch your holes. I'm just gonna wing it. Start about here, wherever you want, and just kind of draw an arc. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my little wing dividers and we'll mark 1/4 inch. Get them here. It's close enough. Over here. So I'm gonna follow my line with my wing divider. And it'll be faint, but basically we're just gonna follow this line and punch holes. So now that I've got my lines, it'll probably be hard for you guys to see, but got my faint little lines there. I'm going to be going through, and I've got a 5/64. You can use a 1/16 inch hole punch, or you could use a rotary punch on the smallest hole setting. I think that's about a 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to guesstimate at mine. You want them to be about 1/4 inch apart, is about where you want your holes to be. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to follow my top edge first. Go through, and I'm basically just going to try to parallel my holes here as I move down the line. Okay, once you have all of your holes punched in your cuff, you will want to go through, and the line that you drew with your silver pen, you will want to cut it. There we go. Cool smiley face. Okay, so now we're gonna take our sinew. I'm using 2 double-aught harness needles. So you'll have one on either end. So you wanna thread both ends. There we go. So basically you're doing this just like you would lace up your shoes. We're gonna start from the back on whichever end you prefer. So I'm gonna start here. they're getting caught. I'm gonna put both needles through, a hole on the top and a hole on the bottom, and you're gonna pull them up. So just like that. I missed a hole. Not like that. Like that. There we go. We'll make sure our needles are even. Thread is even. Take one side. Let's see. You're going to go down through the slit and then up through a hole. That one over there. Take your other side down through the slit and up through the hole. Now whichever way you do it this first time will be the way that you want to do it every time. So if your second thread goes over your first one, then you will want to do that on every one so that it looks the same as you go up through. So take this one again, down, up, that thread. And this one, I went over, so I'm going to go over my last thread, down through, and then up. And then pull it tight. And you're going to do this all the way down. Okay, we're coming up on our final 2 holes here. We've got everything threaded so far. And then it's pretty simple because we're putting that liner on. I'm not super concerned about tying off ends or anything like that. So I'm just gonna go through my last 2. And then I'm just gonna put both ends through the slot and kind of pull forward to give the appearance that they're just moving on. So now we're just gonna kind of put it over here to the side. Since the sinew is waxed really well, it kind of just sticks together, which is nice. We'll trim our little ends off. Just kind of push them up here so that when we glue our backer on, it'll just secure them up here to the corner. So, doesn't that look nice? So now we're gonna take our backer and we're gonna glue again. On this, you want to be careful not to glue really heavily around the holes because you're going to get a lot of glue coming through the holes. It will be hard to clean up later. Okay, we have applied our glue to both sides and given it a little bit of time to get tacky. It's not really sticky to the touch, so that's what you want. So we're gonna stick these together. Okay, look at that. Make sure my edges are pressed together real good. I'm not pulling it apart because once again I'm not sewing these. You could sew yours if you wanted to. You could stitch around the edge. Make it a little bit more finished. All the way down. And if you've got any glue hanging out, if any glue came through your holes or is on your table, you can always use a handy dandy glue eraser. Get it off of there, kind of clean up the area. And now we're just gonna set some snaps. Remember, you always want to have a piece of granite or marble or very hard surface on your workbench to whenever you're setting things, because it'll just make it go a lot easier. And it looks good. Okay, there is bracelet number 2. Let's see. We can get it worked in. Since I use the veg backing, it takes a little bit to get it broken in, but it will break in quite nicely. And then we'll be happy. Let's see what they look like. Look at that. You can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our newsletter on our website. If you just go to our website, there'll be a nice pop-up box that happens, and you can just stick your email right in there. Yeah, make sure you keep up to date on everything that we're doing, see what new patterns we have in the works. You can check out all of Denny's new products, and all of his fun projects that he does, and then all of our new and upcoming things. So just keep in touch with us. It's Springfield Leather.